Welcome, everybody, to the Big Book Roundtable in the RICO 12 family of recovery resources targeted from people from all backgrounds, faiths, places, you name it, and dealing with addictions and alcoholism of all varieties and manifestations. RICO 12 is also a resource for the loved ones of those suffering in addiction and alcoholism. I'm Justin B. I'm a child of an all powerful, perfectly loving God and a multidisciplinary addict. I'm living in the miraculous recovery that's promised in the Big Book here as I practice these principles in all my affairs. And I'm joined today by David G. and Nikki M., as I always am, and I'm so grateful to have them gathered around this virtual roundtable with me to dive into the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous. Let's start with David today. David, why don't you say hi, introduce yourself?
Hey, everybody. My name is David Green. I am an alcoholic and an addict of many sorts. I'm grateful to be here today at the roundtable with my brother and sister and looking forward to diving into the book. Thank you.
Thank you, David. And Nikki, you're up.
Hi, everybody. I'm Nikki M. I'm a grateful member of this program and many others, and I'm just grateful to be here. I didn't get a lot of sleep, so I just want to shout out to people in the back. Sleep is vital. Sleep is so important to working a solid program. So I'm grateful that my guys are here to hold me up today. Thank you.
Thank you, Nikki. I appreciate it. And I also am sleep deprived this morning, but grateful to be here. I'm feeling energized as I sit down with you two and buoyed up by both of you. All right. So, in this project, the Big Book Roundtable, we go line by line through the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous. We started a couple of years ago, way back at the very beginning on the title page. If you haven't listened to that and you're just starting your journey or you're walking with somebody else through the steps, I highly recommend using these episodes as resources for you, for your sponsees, for others to dive into some things and understand more of the history of what the Big Book is saying and how to practically apply it into your life and into your recovery. Today we continue in the chapter Working with Others. That's chapter 7. And we are going to be on page 102, and we're just going to read a couple of paragraphs again today. We're going to read the paragraph that starts with "Why sit with a long face?" and end with the one that ends with "God will keep you unharmed." And isn't that what we want, is to stay unharmed? But let's dive in and read these, and then we'll get into some experience, strength, and hope. Why sit with a long face in places where there is drinking, sighing about the good old days? If it is a happy occasion, try to increase the pleasure of those there. If a business occasion, go and attend to your business enthusiastically. If you are with a person who wants to eat in a bar, by all means, go along. Let your friends know they are not to change their habits on your account. At a proper time and place, explain to all your friends why alcohol disagrees with you. If you do this thoroughly, few people will ask you to drink. While you were drinking, you were withdrawing from life little by little. Now you are getting back into the social life of this world. Don't start to withdraw again just because your friends drink liquor. Your job now is to be at the place where you may be of maximum helpfulness to others. So never hesitate to go anywhere if you can be helpful. You should not hesitate to visit the most sordid place on earth on such an errand. Keep on the firing line of life with these motives, and God will keep you unharmed. Okay, let's go into these paragraphs. David, why don't you walk us through and share what jumps out at you?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for your service here today, Justin. Why sit with a long face? I'm sad. I'm depressed. I can't drink anymore. I'm not acting out. It's like, oh, I don't feel good. You know, I've not recovered from a hopeless condition of mind that drives me to that, if that's the case. It's not the place that I'm depressed about. It's not the fact that I can't drink or act out or do any of that anymore. It's the fact that I have now discovered a condition that is much worse than I realized whenever I started this thing. You see, drinking and acting out, all of that stuff is the effect. It's far from being the cause. You know, we've all the way through this series, we've looked at the self. We've looked at what has defeated us, the ism. And it's telling me, you know, why sit somewhere with a long face about sighing about those, you know? I think I shared on this last time. I jumped ahead a little bit, I guess. If it's a happy occasion, then here's the solution to that. If you're sad, if you're pissed off, if you're mad, you're depressed, try to increase the pleasures of those there. That is always, always going to be the solution to self-centered behavior. It's a business occasion. Go and attend to that business enthusiastically. I worked in the oil field for many years, the oil and gas industry, and man, we were throwing around $1,000 like it was 10 or 15 all the time. I mean, I had guys that was signing tickets after a day's work that was upwards of $500,000 for the services that we had done that day. And I had I had a company that handed me a credit card unlimited and said, I want you to take care of that man signing that ticket. And I don't care what he wants to do, you do it. If he wants to drink, you take him and you drink him down. If he wants to go and see ladies, you take him to go see ladies. And I was thinking, oh shit. And so of course he wanted to drink and go see ladies. I mean, and so, that's what I took him to do. I was uneasy about going to it at the time. But what I did was I tried to increase the pleasures of those there. And I'm not talking about the workers. I'm not talking about the bartenders. I was talking about the men that went. I would talk to them, hey, man, don't get too wiped out in here tonight, because they told me to take care of him, not you. If you go to jail, you're on your own. You've lost your job. You've lost everything that we've worked for up to this point. And I can remember not really even giving too much attention to the atmosphere around me, but going along with what was happening there. And it turned out to be good because I was the only one who was sober in the whole bunch. And so, yeah, go to it. Do it enthusiastically. If you're a person who wants to go eat at a bar, I think I shared this last episode. We do this all the time. Texas Roadhouse, different places that has a bar where we can't get a seat. And for a couple of hours, we're going to do that. People don't have to change their habits because of me. The proper time and place, it says, explain to your friends why alcohol disagrees with you. Usually when I tell somebody what has happened in my drinking, in my using, my acting out, they don't want me drinking with them anyway. They're like, oh, hell no. No, because I promise you there's going to be a lot of red and blue lights. There's going to be handcuffs. There's going to be gunshots. There's going to be fires. There's going to be all kinds of different things that are going to happen as a result of me going to drink with you. So, yeah, they absolutely do not want me to do that. So, but look what it says. It says if you do it, keyword here, thoroughly, few people are going to ask you to drink. And I promise you that's been my experience. So, while drinking, we withdraw from life little by little, same way with acting out, same way with whatever, we withdraw from life. And it's very sad. I caught this mainly in sex addiction. I started losing my passion for working with others. One, that scared me. That had never happened to me in all of my years. I got to where I didn't want to go to very many meetings anymore. I started isolating. I really seen how the disease was dragging me away like a dead carcass. And, it scared the hell out of me. But, at the time, there wasn't anything I could do other than surrender. And eventually, thank God, that's what happened. But my sponsor tells me all the time, David, the next time you go out on one of these binges, no matter what it is, drinking, eating, acting out, there's a good chance you're not going to come back from that. And here's what I discovered. Thankfully, I've been able, by God's grace, to come back and be with you guys again. But here's what I've noticed. It's harder each time for me to come back from those. I noticed that, as the years go by, I'm just not where I was. Like, in my earlier days, I could bounce back from a relapse pretty quick, pick back up, go again. There's no promise of that in this book. This is a very fatal, destructive illness, and it will take us out, and it will make us think that we're in the right, doing good all the while. So for me, working with others is vital part to my recovery, but it's only a part. There are other parts as well. There's the fellowship, there's the service structure of it. If I'm not getting up in the morning and seeing how I can be of service to God and to you, then my ideas are going to go another direction. And when that happens, they're going to stay on me long enough until I take action based on one of them. And then there's all kinds of hell that's going to result as. So Very important part of the book. Try to increase the pleasure of those there. Forget about self, turn to others. I mean, it's told us that all the way through the, it's no different here. So thank you, Justin, for letting me share, bud.
Thank you, David. All right, Nikki, walk us through those paragraphs there also, and tell us your experience, strength, and hope, and point of view. Hey, Nikki, you're on mute. Go ahead and come off mute.
Okay, there we are. I'm not very, see, I'm tired. Thank you. We need each other. And here it is. Why sit with a long face? Like, remember, I love all that David said. I mean, it's all facts. I have recovered from a seemingly hopeless state of mind. And, I've been here a while, and I love that what the project that we're doing, Justin, because it really does go into why would you sit here sighing about the good old days when they weren't so good? That's an old belief system. See, it says it in we read it in the book. It's like, I wouldn't go back to my old life even if I could. I'm a retired burlesque entertainer from the 90s, okay? And I'm an 80s, 70s child. We had good times then. And I love what David was talking about, the making all that money. That was good times in the 80s and the 90s, and people were printing money and everybody was a free for all. But that wasn't a great time. A lot of people wanted to die. I remember I grew up in an alcoholic household. It wasn't so great. I've been reborn. So this is just all like, this is an old belief system that just doesn't match up to my new belief system. Like, those were the good old days. No, they weren't. No, they weren't. It says, if it's a happy occasion, I'm to increase the pleasure. That means my line out. I've got a lot of line out here, you guys. I'm a servant. I'm a servant of God. I'm a servant of God. That's it. I'm here to serve. Business. If I have business, okay, I'm a servant. Everything I do is a business. It's like today, I have to do something this evening. I'm going to serve. Not what can I get out of it? How much can I make? No, how can I make this better for me and my friends? Key word, enthusiastic. It says enthusiastically. These are key words. Wholeheartedly, sincere, with enthusiasm. If you, Nikki, are with a person who wants to go anywhere, I don't care where they want to go along. Now, I want to go deeper on this. That's because I want to talk to the codependents in the Al Anon. It's people pleasing. This weekend, my friend's birthday, they were all going in a group to this spa, okay? I don't do well like that. I don't do well in big groups. I knew it would be better for me to do something different with my friend, and I told her that. And guess what? I armed her with the facts about myself. I'm 52. It's too people-y out there for me. I don't like to do that stuff. I'd rather do something one-on-one. And that's where we go. Like, you have to let people know. And it says, I love this, at the proper time and place. Are you telling your family and friends who you are? Or are you role playing, people pleasing? Because it says, we read it in our book, thoroughly honest. Are you standing tall to people and saying, I don't like that stuff? I meet a lot of people, Justin, and they go through this whole process and they wake up and they're like, I don't even like eggs, but I eat them every day because their husband eats them or whatever it is. It's like, people, you don't even know yourself. This is a discovery of what you are, who you are, and what you like to do. So at the proper time and place, explain to your family, to your friends, why those things. Oh, I have anxiety. No, don't go with that medical terms. Explain to them exactly what it does. It's not helpful for me to be there. I don't like to be in big crowds. I don't do well in small crowds. I don't do well one-on-one. I do better in big crowds. Let people know what works for you, because this is all about being your authentic self. And it says, if you do this thoroughly. See, remember we beg you to be fearless from the start? Or are you guys people pleasing? Because that is dishonest. Doing things that you don't want to do is dishonest. And guess what? No is a full sentence. There's a speaker I love, Bob D from Vegas. If you have to justify, rationalize, or explain anything, no, you are wrong, because you never have to justify, rationalize, or explain what is right. Okay, so here it is. It says right here. Um, it says right here, I love this. You are withdrawing. While you were drinking, you were withdrawing from life. Okay, let's go deep here. While you're in your disease, porn addicts, sex addicts, food addicts, media addicts, hoarders, like go deep. This is all the disease of alcoholism. So while you're deep in your thoughts, in your addiction, you are socially anorexic. That's my line out. Like, you don't have to be food anorexic, you're socially anorexic. And a lot of you are sober doing this. You're not recovered. You just stopped drinking. That's all. And it says now you are getting back into the social life of this world. We didn't come here to Earth School to hang out in our basement and avoid life. We came out here to serve God and God's people. We read that in the book already. Do not withdraw. That means don't isolate everybody. I know people, their only life, Justin and David probably knows people like this, is the rooms. That's not okay either. You didn't come in here just to sit in a meeting every day of the week. Your only friends are in program. Your only life is in program. That, to me, isn't helpful either. You have family, you have friends, you have. I said to my friend the other day, he's been sober for 30 years in the rooms. I said, why don't you go out and meet somebody? You're so special. Only the people in the rooms get you. And there's a lot of people out there who need you because all you are in the room. So here it is. Your job now. See, I have a job here, everybody. Circle the word job is to be. I have to be at the place where Nikki may be of maximum helpfulness to others. That's my job. So I never hesitate to go anywhere if I can be helpful. I might have to visit the most sordid places on earth. And I do. I have to visit a lot of places. And I know all of us do as sponsors, as friends, as family. In 2025, people are dropping dead in my community. And I have to go to all kinds of places. But it says, I will be unharmed. I got to keep on the firing line. We're soldiers of God. And with these motives, what motives? Well, being helpful, not wanting anything in return, making sure that I'm there to serve, not get anything out of the occasion. Those motives. God, the spiritual principles will keep me unharmed. See, only the spiritual principles will keep me unharmed. Being humble, being responsible, being helpful, being kind, being loving, being honest, being honest. Those are the things that will keep me unharmed. Thanks. Thanks, you guys.
Yeah, thank you, Nikki. Thank you, David. I want to share something here. I think it's been about 6 or 8 months ago. I felt that I was being reassigned on the firing lines. For the first decade plus of my recovery, as I've been working this, I felt that I was on the front lines, weapon in hand, up against the enemy. In the firing lines, right there in the heat of the battle. And about 6 or 8 months ago, I felt reassigned to be a medic. Put down my weapon, pick up the first aid kit, the big book, and be ready for the call of medic. Be ready for the call of somebody who says, I don't got this. I'm done. I can't do this anymore. And then run to the aid with all the bullets and mortars and bombs and everything going off all around and pulling them out and pointing them to who I call the field general in this analogy, to God, and getting them off the field until they're assigned to whatever their role is in the battle of life. So this thought of God, keep on the firing line of life with these motives, and God will keep you unharmed. That imagery, that reassignment it was hard for me at first. I was like, no, I want to be a hero. I want to be the person out there making all the noise. But I've found that as I feel, there's some big book language in this, as I feel the role that God's called me to, and I'm making that I'm not saying that exactly what it is, but things happen so that I am of maximum helpfulness to others and I'm unharmed. So real quick, let's go back, David. Why don't you give us a takeaway that you've gotten from this conversation here. We're not going to go into questions this time unless something comes up, but give us a takeaway.
Sure. I think what we read here today, just be sure that you're on solid spiritual ground. Just be sure. If you're not sure or you don't know what that looks like, talk to somebody who does. For me, am I at peace? Is there any fear here? Is there resentment connected to, I can't go here anymore. I shouldn't be there. I don't need to go. Am I feeling down and blue? I mean, if any of those thoughts or feelings have occurred, then I need to do what it says, try to work with somebody else, try to inspire somebody else, try to increase the pleasure of somebody else. But, I think our book is very solid when it says, each day, see what you can ask to see what you can do for the man who is still sick. If your own house is in order, that's going to come to you. If that doesn't come to you, that's probably a pretty good indication you're not on solid spiritual ground, at least in my case. So thank you, Justin.
Yeah, thank you, David. Nikki, how about you? What's something that as we've read and talked today, your mind was opened a little bit more to?
Well, I like the reminder here that my job, like I came to planet Earth and I was like, I thought my job literally, well, I was programmed to think I need to be a mom, and I'm grateful that I am a mom. I thought I was here to satisfy your husband, ladies. Like I thought that was my job, was to take your husband hostage and make sure I loved him because you don't know how to love him. Okay, that's what I thought my job was. I thought my job was to go in and rearrange and redesign every workplace that I went into. But I see that my job, actually I have a silent part most days, which I learned when we read back in the book, but my job is just to be helpful. That's enough of a job. I thought my job was to, big money, big accolades, baseball lingo, I don't know, get a World Series ring. I thought that my job is just to be helpful. It's that simple. It's that simple, and we want to complicate it. And I loved at the top of the page too. Another takeaway that I didn't realize, it's if I can answer like satisfactory to myself, I don't have to be apprehensive about anything. I can go anywhere, do anything. I tap power. See, I've been programmed to think I'm a weak little person and I need that. I need God. But once I tap this power that's inside of me, whoa, I can go anywhere and do anything with no apprehension. So I'm just grateful, you guys. Thank you. Oh, I'm a little more awake now. You guys got me on the God dope. I need that.
Good, good. And hopefully everybody else out there that is listening to this, whenever you may be listening to this, gets a little bit of that God dope, wants to tie in and tap into that God dope. As I do these things, as I strive to practice these principles in all my affairs, I find peace, I find strength, I find hope. And I think hope is something that's really lacking in the world today. So practice these principles, you will find hope, and you'll be able to share hope and share light with others so that they can, hopefully look up and be hopeful also. Keep putting these principles into action. Keep working this program. Keep sharing it with others. Keep being of maximum helpfulness to others. And don't hesitate to go anywhere if you're going to be helpful. Keep working it because you are worth it.